Welcome to Style with Trish. I'm your host, Trish Standley, and today we have Jennifer Eichelberger. She's here with us, and we're going to have a good talk. We're going to talk about books. We're going to talk about self-care. We're going to talk about everything. Stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Every day a woman reigns. It's time to live your dreams. Nothing's gonna stop you now. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Every day a woman reigns. Every day a woman reigns.
Today on Style with Trish, we have my friend, producer, doctor, minister, none other than Jennifer Eichelberger. She's here with us, and we're going to have a good talk. We're going to talk about books. We're going to talk about self-care. We're going to talk about everything, because I really want to pick your brain on so many different levels. First of all, you're a TV producer. Tell us about your journey and how you got started there.
Oh, my goodness. I had a dream many years ago, when I used to live in Washington, D.C., and I would see myself in a studio. At the time, never had been in a studio.
Okay.
But before I left Washington, D.C., I ended up with a job in the public relations communications department, and it had a studio.
Okay.
And so God showed me a glimpse of what I was going to be doing. And then once I moved here, I started volunteering at a local television station here in Atlanta.
Okay.
And I just kind of worked my way up from there.
Wow.
That's how that happened.
That's
so.
an interesting story. It was almost like you I kind of sort of had the same experience where God kind of through a dream let me know where I was supposed to go, and as soon as the path was open, I was able to walk through it. And similar with you with production, because you're pretty well known in the city as a producer. And is it something or an area, where do you feel like that particular area is going in today's society?
I think it's going to really start to take off even more, because now with live streaming and all the other different streaming platforms, it has changed the level playing field.
Okay.
Yeah, it used to be you'd had to wait till you were invited on a television show, but now you can start your own.
That's right. That's right.
You can start your own, because there's, I think the social media live platforms help change that, and the different, live streaming has changed that. So yes, because I read something that most people remember more from video than they do reading a process. So it's going to blow. I think we've at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. And then also with the onset of COVID, a lot of things have gone digital as well. So yeah. So I agree with that. You have a lot of degrees.
My goodness.
Well, you have honorary doctorate's degrees, and you just got presented with another award. So let's talk about the degrees and the award that you were just presented.
Okay. I was just presented with a Lifetime Achievement Award. It was signed, and I have a picture of President Biden and Vice President Harris, and I wasn't expecting that. And also a humanitarian award because of the leadership.
Okay.
Because my husband and I, we do a lot of different things, and we don't do it for, but I guess, like at Christmas, we adopt families, but I don't, talk a lot about it, because that's just something that we do. And during the year, we help people out with, their rent and food or whatever that they need. And yeah, so
I love that. The benevolence in you. And a lot of times you hear, or I've seen on social media, where people will say, well, they're recording themselves helping someone, and someone will always respond, just do it, just to do it. Don't do it for recognition.
Right.
And so I love the benevolence of just giving and caring for others. You have a lot of I won't say a lot. You have some affiliations I wanted to kind of go over and talk about. You mind sharing that?
Sure.
Okay.
I was approached about 5 years ago to start a chapter of NCNW, which is National Council of Negro Women.
Okay.
So I was the charter president. So I did that for about 3 years. I'm still a member, but I'm not the current president. They refer to it as the immediate past president. And it's an organization that helps to make sure our community is up on different, like right now, our initiative is on vaccination and being healthy and, Alzheimer's and sickle cell. That's what we do. I'm also a member of, I was just inducted in TLOD, which stands for Top Lady of Distinction. And basically they're somewhat the same, make sure that, but I think TLOD is more focused on, the youth. So that's one of the, and then I'm chair of our women's fellowship at my church. And then again, I help my husband out with some different things.
A quick question, and we're going to go to a break. What is the importance of, because I've seen this a lot in the city, where women are affiliated with organizations. Why is that important?
I think it's important because of the sisterhood and the camaraderie and helping each other. You know, as we always say, straighten your sister's crown without telling the whole body. And so it's sisterhood and helping in the community and getting things done. Like, we're also doing a toy drive, you know, for Christmas, apart from what I do with my husband. So I think it's important.
Well, we're going to take a really quick break. And when we come back, we are going to, I want to have a couple more questions in that area. So we'll be right back.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Hey guys, this is Trish Standley. Catch up on season 1 of Style with Trish by going to trishstanley.com. If you are not able to catch the show on YouTube, make sure you go to my website, trishstanley.com, and check out our podcast. This is a place where the everyday woman reigns. trishstanley.com. We are back having a great discussion with Jennifer Eichelberger. And before we went on break, we were talking about the different women organizations, and that just really sparked a genuine interest in me. From your experience, what has been one of the benefits of being a part of those type organizations?
The sisterhood, the camaraderie, and you can actually do a little bit more when you're with an organization than if you're doing it individually. Because all the organizations, they're about service, and it's about doing things for the community, particular women of color. So that's been the main thing for me.
Well, you know, we're gonna be in touch in that, and I'll keep the audience abreast on what I do and where I go, because I'm going somewhere. So let's talk about your book, specifically about self-care. And that sparked a feeling in me, because I've just been in this mode of really making sure we take care of ourselves, not just the body, but the mind, the soul, and the spirit. So share with us about your book.
And that's exactly it. Self-care is anything that you do to make yourself feel good. And oftentimes they say self-care is selfish. No, it's not. Self-care is necessary. We need to step back and take care of ourselves. You can go for a walk. You can listen to some music. You can listen to jazz, whatever. Like self-care it's not one single definition for self-care. What may be self-care for you may not be self-care for me.
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, I get up in the morning, I walk about 2.5 miles, listen to some music or praying, meditating, but we have to step back, because there's a quote that's in the beginning of my book. It says, if you, constantly, this is not exactly how it goes, but basically if you're giving, and you're not filling yourself up, you can't pour from an empty vessel.
Right.
In other words, think about when you're on an airplane. One of the first things that the attendant tells you to do, if something happens, put the oxygen mask over yourself so you can assist others. It's the same thing with self-care. If you keep giving, and eventually you're going to burn out, and then you're no good for yourself or anybody else. So that's why I wrote that book.
And what's the title of the book?
The title of the book is Self-Care, the Vital Art of Nurturing You.
And it's not like a journal. It's just like a regular novel.
It's not like a journal, but I have it from A to Z. Like A is like anxiety, if you have an anxiety. B is boldness. C is celebrate yourself. Yes, it's set up like that. So you don't necessarily have to read it from, page 1 to the end. Like if, you're having some issues with, self-esteem, I think, and you can go to S or.
You have it every letter of the alphabet. Every letter of the alphabet. Oh, wow. Okay. So what made you go that route to do it in that way? That's unique. I don't
know. I was just kind of led. I was led, and I finished it during the pandemic.
Okay.
And I was just kind of led to break it down like that.
So what inspired this particular book for you to write it? Not in the way that you wrote it, but what inspired you? Okay. Something had to inspire you to write a self-care book.
As you had mentioned, I'm a producer, and I was a live TV production is a whole different ball game. And I was burnt out. Yeah. I loved what I was doing, but I was burnt out because see, when you're doing live television, if something happens, you've got to keep the show going without any interruption. If a light goes out, you got to get that light fixed. If the mic goes out on the, anything can happen, and you've got to be on your toes, and you got to always think real quick. Oh my goodness, I got to keep this show going because it's live.
Right. So that I can see that, and have a certain area of my life where I'm experiencing burnout. So I'm definitely going to be reading your book, and I will definitely give you feedback because I think sometimes when we take for granted when we purchase things like books and things that are meant to help you, it's good to get feedback and how it ministers to other people. So I'm going to definitely be doing that. I have one last question before we close, and it's just to get your take and your advice on how to overcome obstacles.
How to overcome obstacles. Number one, I'd say never, ever give up. Never give up. If you have a dream or if it's something you want to do, never give up. And you are going to have obstacles and get rid of the fear, and just keep moving forward. If you have to go back to school to learn or hone in on those trades. But I would say never give up because life is not an easy road. We all wish it was smooth.
Right.
But it's not. I would basically say never ever give up.
Never give up. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You guys make sure you go and purchase Jennifer's book. It's available. And make sure, give her some feedback and let her know how that book has blessed your lives. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We'll be right back.
Hi guys, it's Dr. Cassandra Parks Evans, affectionately known as Dr. San, and this is your segment of Let's Learn Love. Hi guys, it's Dr. San with your Let's Learn Love segment today, and we're talking about love of self. And when we talk about our love of self, that means setting goals. Setting goals are very important because that allows you to grow and to become what you want to become. So when setting goals, there's a couple of things that you need to know. One, what is your absolute target? What do you want to achieve? And what is it that you want? So when you do that, setting goals becomes easy. Make sure that you learn and you get what you need to do to get your goals met. If you have any questions or need any help getting those goals met, comment below or follow me on social media and maybe we can get them together. So this has been Dr. Sam with the Let's Learn Love segment for today. Until I see you next time.
Everybody, I'm Stephen Gibbs, owner and operator of Gibbs Enterprise. We do home improvement, home repairs, deck rebuilding, deck construction, plumbing, and carpentry. You need it, we can do it. Just give us a call. Interior painting, exterior painting, pressure washing, drywall repair. You need it, we can do it. Demo work, you need it, we got it. Call us up at 770-713-2059. We do great work for great prices.
Today's guest, we have author, publisher, playwright, you name it. We have none other than Carron Monaye here as my guest. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. This was a long time coming, honey.
Yes, it was. The thing I love about authors is the patience and oh my goodness, the time that you have to invest in writing books. Give us your experience and what was it like the very first book of many that you've written?
Oh my gosh. It was the first experience is always surreal because it's almost like birthing a baby. Literally, it's labor pains, it's blood, sweat, and tears. It's broke nights, hungry days, don't know how you're going to market, especially if you don't know a lot of people. And the experience is definitely overwhelming, but when you hold that book in your hand for the very first time, it's almost like holding your first child. And if you love children, you'll go back for the second and the third and the fourth, and until it becomes, too financially, cumbersome. But my first experience was amazing. It definitely was. And that's why I'm still here after all these years.
And what was the title of your first book? Because you're an author of 22 books. So what was your title of your first book?
My Side of the Story. I started out with Juicy Tea.
So you're based now in Florida, but you're originally from Philly. What else are you doing when it comes to publishing?
So when it comes to publishing, I'm actually publishing other authors now. And in 2015, we just celebrated our 6-year anniversary. My company, Pen Legacy Publishing, opened its doors, and so far it really has helped me build my brand as an author by giving back and being that platform, for other people who are not necessarily able to, get picked up by a traditional publisher or don't know the ins and outs of publishing. So now we have clients, worldwide, we have clients stateside. It literally has just given me the opportunity to help others, the way that my publisher and coaches and mentors helped me along the way before I opened up my own company.
And what is the name of your company?
Pen Legacy, honey, Pen Legacy. The legacy rises.
And how did you come up with that name? Because sometimes it's difficult to name your overall company. How did you come up with that name?
So my company literally was named from who I am. I'm a writer, so it was my pen. For me, my pen speaks the legacy that I'm going to leave for my children. So everything that I write is going to be, their inheritance, is going to be their assets, is going to be their story. So that's how I put it together. Pen Legacy, which is my pen is going to leave my legacy for my children and many generations to come.
Awesome. I always ask that because there is always a reason for naming something as precious, like you said, almost like your babies as that. What is your background as far as, did you start out writing poetry? Is authorship something that you always wanted to do? How did you end up in this particular field?
Actually, no, I had no desire to ever move my writing from my composition book to an actual book that is going to be sold. I started out as a writer of poetry. Back in the 90s, years ago, I won a couple poetry contests. Then I kind of moved that over into the songwriting space. And then I did some staff writing for different magazines, CNN. And then something was just like, okay, you need to start monetizing it. And then life happened, was going through a divorce. Mama was broke. And it was just like, okay, what do I have around this house that I can sell? And it was like, ding, 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 composition book. And it literally, my business and everything that I'm doing now really started. It started in 2008 in the middle of a recession. So I always like to point that out for people who are, we're in the middle of a pandemic and it's like, can I birth something? Yes, you can. So my business and my writing, everything was monetized in the middle of recession, going through a divorce, trying to escape eviction. It was just, a low moment of my life. And I let my gift, save us. And we're still here.
All right. That's a great story. We're going to take a really quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have some more questions for you on the world of being an author. We'll be right back.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome back to Style with Trish. I am here with my guest today, who is Carron Monaye. She's an author and publisher and so many things, so many wonderful things. Can you name some of the clients? You were speaking before the break about how you mentor and you coach other authors. Can you share, if you would like, some of the clients that you work with?
Sure. I have worked with, oh my God, how long do we have, honey? How long?
Not that long.
How long do we have to pull out the roster? Well, I have worked with so many great and talented people. I've worked with Precious Williams. She is the pitch master out of New York. I've worked with Ty Johnston Chavez, and she is the CEO and founder of the Atlanta Pitch Festival right there in y'all backyard. I've worked with, none other than the Evelyn Braxton, the mother and matriarch to the Braxtons. And we actually just released her cookbook. I've worked with Tony Moore Esquire. I've worked with so many amazing people. Kenyatta Gray, is so many people. I'm blessed that, with all the competition out here that they call, they contact Penn Legacy, honey.
So it sounds like most of your clientele are women. Is that a particular area that you have maybe fallen into, that you work with more women?
Yes, I've had men. I've had Brandon. I've had Derek. I've had Dr. Arthur. I've had men, but it seemed like, us women, we have a story to tell, and we don't mind sharing and giving the tea and giving the gossip and the how-tos. We have that hair salon mentality. It's like, girl, let me tell you. So I definitely have more women, but I can't forget my brothers, because we've published, brother books as well. So yes, my Black men be out there sharing their stories.
That's
too.
awesome. That's awesome to hear. When you were talking, it made me think, women, we always got something to say. So.
Always. It's like, girl, did you know? And we just turn it in the book.
Yes. And you've also are award-winning author. Can you share some of that area of success?
Sure. I've won Girls on Fire awards. That was actually my first award that I won. I won the Presidential Award, and that award show was based out of Cleveland, Ohio. I've won Women Doing It Big. That's under Tiana Von Johnson. That's the organization out of New York. I've won, some of my plays have won different awards as well. I've been honored in Jersey City gave me a citation, and I have different mayor office awards from their politicians up there for the work that I do with helping people share their stories. It's really been a blessing, and I don't do it for the recognition, but it feels good that people actually see the work that we do.
Absolutely. That's a blessing in itself. We didn't even touch on your playwright, that you're a playwright. What's one of your best plays that you've written so far?
Get Out of Your Own Way. That play was a work of labor. I wrote the play in 2013. It premiered in Hollywood, California in 2018. And I always tell people that play, even though it was, it inspired, it motivated a lot of people, it literally did more work for me, because it was like I was speaking to myself. I wrote the play to inspire, but it was me who actually was the client who needed to hear my own words. Because from that play, we premiered it in Hollywood twice, sold out all 9 shows. So let me say that. I'm from Philly. I produced that play. I was living in Philly. The show went on in Hollywood. So that was a blessing. And then we went to New York and Times Square. It was off Broadway. And right after that play, I'm like literally got a job down here in Florida. My son got enlisted into the military. It literally was like our permission slip. So that play will forever go down in history.
Dang, that's awesome. I love to hear that. We only have a few minutes left. Not quite, but share with us, how would you encourage someone? What advice would you give someone who is really trying to write a book like myself? What kind of advice would you give us on getting started?
One, I would definitely say be clear on what it is that you want to write about. Because a lot of people just say, I have a story, and they don't know, like, okay, what's the topic? And then two, you want to make sure that your story or your topic is relevant. You don't want to write a book that doesn't sell. And then number three, the most important step of all, you need to call me and I can help you.
That's most important. And I will be calling you too. But I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. This was a long time coming. We've been following each other for quite some time. And I thank you for coming. And anyone who is looking forward to working with a publisher, if you already have a book, but you need publishing, or if you're looking to start writing your own book, make sure that you reach out to my guest, my award-winning guest, none other than Carron Monaye. Thank you, Charron, for coming and hanging out with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, we will be right back after this.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that he's a good person. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, it starts to work itself out.
Hey guys, this is Trish Standley. Catch up on season 1 of Style with Trish by going to trishstanley.com. If you are not able to catch the show on YouTube, make sure you go to my website, trishstanley.com, and check out our podcast. This is a place where the everyday woman reigns. trishstanley.com. I hope you guys got something out of it, and I love you, I love you, I love you. As we sign off, as always, I say, love isn't love unless you give it away. Give some love away today.